Welcome to Quantum Finance. My name is Parker. I'm the head trader here, but I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So in today's video, we'll take a look at the economic calendar, we'll go over some news, and then we'll do our market recap and market analysis. So starting here on the economic calendar today, Tuesday, June 13th, we did get CPI come out, which is the inflation data. So CPI year over year came in at 4% with 4.1 expected. Now we can look at some news here. This is the year over year percent change. In CPI, as you can see, this is from June of 2022 versus May of 2023. As you can see, it has moved from 9.1% in June to 4% in May. And what's driving the decline is lower rates of inflation in fuel oil, gasoline, utilities, used cars, medical care, apparel, new cars, food at home, and electricity. But with rates of inflation in transportation, food away from home, shelter, they have increased. But the declines in the other major components have outweighed these increases. Here we have the longest streak of deceleration in year-over-year CPI since 1921, with 11 consecutive months of lowering CPI. But here, as you can see, the long-term chart going back into the 1940s of CPI as it forever continues to go up as we continuously print money in our debt-based economic model. And here we have a chart showing the federal funds meeting probabilities here. As you can see, there is a 100% chance of no interest rate hike tomorrow at the Fed meeting, but there is a 65% chance of a 25 basis points rate hike in July. And there is only one interest rate cut currently expected for the entire of 2023. We also had the Hinman emails released today. I know a lot of the people that are big fans of XRP and Ripple Labs and been following the lawsuit have been waiting on this for a very long time. And this is just a post here from Ripple's head general counsel here, their main lawyer. And if you are really interested in XRP and this court case, I know I'm like obsessed with this court case. I do have a large, chunk in XRP. I definitely suggest going and watching this video that they made and going through his thread, breaking down everything that came out in the emails. It just really exposes the pure corruption and fraud and, just how, corrupt the Securities and Exchange Commission is here in the United States. We also have Congress instructing Janet Yellen to have the Treasury and Federal Reserve make preparations and be on the ready for a situation where China dumps all of their U.S. treasuries overnight. We also have the U.S. announcing another $325 million in military aid to Ukraine. Now we can do our market recap here, starting in the debt market with the U.S. 10-year yield. As you can see, big rain day here in the 10-year yield, bouncing off that midline and pushing its way up here towards this upper extreme. Looking super bullish here on the weekly chart and getting pretty squeezed here on the daily. Turning to the dollar, we do have a red day here in the dollar, breaking down through that midline, getting really close to that lower extreme as well. Breaking down through that midline here on the weekly chart. And these bands are starting to get kind of squeezed here on the dollar as well. Turning to the stock market, we have another monster green day today. As you can see, big gap up and nice push to the upside, really extending beyond these highs here from August that we broke yesterday. Looking at cryptocurrencies, we're looking at Bitcoin here. As you can see, slight green day here with a large wick to the upside. Getting pretty close to that upper extreme, but really just still consolidating here in the lower end of this daily range. Turning to XRP, when the emails dropped, the Hinman emails dropped, it was looking super bullish for XRP, and it did have a massive spike here to the upside. It was up like 7% or so, but as you can see, getting a large wick to the downside off that upper extreme here on the daily and weekly charts. Still sitting above that midline here, starting to get kind of squeezed here on the daily as well. So, over the next week or two, I would definitely expect some large move here in XRP, hopefully to the upside. Turning to commodities, we have oil getting a pretty decent green day here in oil, bouncing off these previous lows here from May 31st. Turning to gold, we do have a pretty big red day here in gold too, getting rejected off that midline, making its way back down here towards these lows from the beginning of June, getting pretty squeezed here on the daily chart as well. Looking at silver, we do have another big red day here in silver after trying to squeeze to the upside, but getting rejected here off that upper extreme on the daily chart. Breaking down through that midline here. Now we can do our market analysis. We'll start with our daily chart here on the S&P 500 Spider ETF. Look at our volume. As you can see, large volume day today. Coming in, breaking above that vol average here with a majority buying coming in. As you can see, just really extending to the upside, pushing above that upper extreme here on the daily and weekly charts. I do want to point out here over here at the weekly RSI, we are getting pretty close to this oversold or overbought level. We are currently sitting at 67.15 with overbought being at 70. Looking here at the 3-minute chart here, as you can see, we did get a big gap up this morning, pulling back here off the open, just kind of getting a slight, bounce here off that lower extreme, getting a recovery here to VWAP, getting a nice push up to the upside for a double top, pulling back into VWAP in that lower extreme for going for another test here of these highs for a triple top, and then you can see breaking down to the downside, pulling down into the open, bouncing off the open, and then kind of consolidating into the closing right here above VWAP. We can zoom out a little bit here. As you can see on the 15-minute chart, we did get continuation out of that bear or that bull pivot that we had yesterday with that big gap up, and then you can see we did form an ascending triangle pattern here, which we did break here at about 145 with a MACD cross to the downside. As you see, breaking out of this pattern here and then pulling down to this lower extreme on the 15-minute chart. Looking at the 2-hour chart here, as you can see, just really extended to the upside, still sitting up here, holding these highs. Getting a slight curl over here and momentum to the downside. Now we can look at the VIX and the NASDAQ. So if you see here at the VIX, not too much action, getting a gap down here, but really just consolidating in the same price area that we had yesterday. Starting to curl a little bit here to the downside on the momentum as well. Looking at the NASDAQ, as you can see, just continuing its breakout here with a large wick to the downside, getting a nice recovery, then just kind of chopping sideways all day with a green close here. But as you can see, kind of forming maybe a bull flag type pattern here on the 2-hour momentum. Now we can talk about some trades. We can go to the 1 minute here, pull up some drawings. So we'll start here at the open. I was super bullish today, just based off yesterday's price action, breaking through that very significant key level. So as you can see here, we did get that big gap up this morning and a strong rip off the open. Then we did form a falling wedge pattern, which is a bullish continuation or bullish reversal pattern. As you can see here, getting our breakout with we did have a squeeze here earlier, but we did get caught by the 10-minute EMAs here. And I was just bullish, and this was a bullish pattern. We didn't have a squeeze, on the breakout. But this was a really nice large pattern. So yeah, I did like this one for a long. As you can see, getting long here on either this breakout here, holding the open, or down here on this retest for a nice move up, above VWAP. And you could have, added here because we did get another squeeze with momentum shift here to the upside at about 11.10 with a falling wedge, which is the same pattern here, just as you can see, a lot smaller. So, you could have held through here and then really taken profit here on the retest of the high of the day. Or, taking profit up into here, above VWAP, and then just, added back here on this falling wedge breakout at about 11.15. And then as you can see, we did have a head and shoulders pattern form here with that double top. So, we were pretty extended to the upside here, and we did have a momentum shift squeeze to the downside, as you can see. So this could have been a decent trade here for a quick scalp down for a retest of VWAP. We did have another squeeze here, but as you can see, really small pattern. Didn't really like this one. And then we did have, kind of a rising wedge, which is a bearish reversal with a squeeze here. But, I was mainly looking for bullish patterns. I did like this head and shoulders, but I did not like this one because, we were sitting right above. We were just looking bullish on the charts, right? This was overextended here, running into resistance. This was just sitting right here above VWAP. So I did not like this one for a short. Obviously, if you did short this, you were getting stopped out. And then as you see here, we did have another large squeeze here to the downside. This is more just kind of like a sideways channel, maybe like a ascending channel type pattern. I did like this one for a short because if you remember on that 15-minute, this was that 15-minute breakdown here at 145 with that MACD cross to the downside. As you can see, this was when that squeeze happened. So I did like this because it was a larger pattern breakout here on the 15-minute. I did like this before I moved down to this 15-minute lower extreme. So yeah, which did line up with the open. So this was a nice short here. Down to the open, but if you didn't get this entry, you did have a bear flag form here with another squeeze. So this could have been another nice opportunity for a short down here towards the open in that 15-minute lower extreme. So yeah, really strong week today. CPI beating expectations. We do get the Federal Reserve interest rate decision, so I'm really curious to see, if the Fed tomorrow continues pumping this market or if they decide to shut this rally down. It'll definitely be interesting to see what the Fed does because, as you know, the Fed basically controls the market. So, yeah, that'll do it for the video. Appreciate y'all watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.